So we're going to start with, I think I'll start with some plants, and then maybe also I'll pop in some different gifty things here and there, and we'll just kind of go through, and I won't have a specific 100% plan of how I'm going to do this. I'm just going to kind of show you some things because as I mentioned, as I was walking around, there's just so many different options. Last week we did a whole webinar on orchids. Of course, orchids are a great gift for our loved ones in our life, for our gardeners. We've got a great collection of orchids. I absolutely love moth orchids, and if you're curious on how to grow these, definitely check out our webinar that we did last week. You can check that out on our website. You just scroll down to our seminar page, and then you can check out all of our past webinars that we've done. So it's a lot of great information, and there's also going to be notes attached to pretty much every webinar, so you can always go back and print off those notes if you need to. Of course, you can take notes and you can ask me questions. We'd love to know where you're watching from, and if you've got any questions, let us know. But orchids are a great option. They're gorgeous. Moth orchids are kind of my go-to orchids. So this is, a brand new moth orchid, just started blooming. I love this one because it's got multiple spikes. So here you can see another, or it's got one spike, but then it's got two more coming off of it with lots of buds still to open. So whenever I'm selecting orchids, especially moth orchids, I'm always looking for, they're going to be some open because otherwise you wouldn't know what color they are and you wouldn't know what you're looking for. But these are great because they have buds that are still coming on them. It's still got buds that haven't opened yet. And so you know you're going to get a lot of blooming power out of this. And moth orchids are great because they can bloom for up to 2 months. They like morning light, afternoon shade. So if you can get an east-facing window, it's really, really good. They like a wet-dry cycle, really water them really well. They're grown in bark or moss. And so you just soak them really, really good. Most of them are grown in a plastic pot. So you can see here, if I gently take it out, that plastic pot. But then they just have a slip in. And what's great about these is there's no hole in it. So this acts as your saucer. And then you just water the plant right in here. You soak it really good. And then you can actually let that pot kind of hold some moisture in to help you along the soaking process of getting that bark or that moss really to absorb a lot of moisture. And then dump out the excess water, let it dry out before your next watering. You could be watering as much as, I don't know, every 7 to 14 days would be the most. So maybe, 3 to 4 times a month, depending on your home conditions. But moth orchids are absolutely gorgeous and make a great gift, and they're super easy. You pick up, grab and go. Got this great container that you can reuse throughout the year. So maybe your orchid is done blooming, you can take it out, you can pop in something else in here. So you come with a great pot. It's a great gift idea. This one's $30. We have these at both of our locations, and lots of different colors: purples, whites, pinks, marbles, stripes. Lots and lots of different colors of moth orchids, and they're one of the easiest ones to kind of start your orchid collection or just to give as a gift because they're going to bloom for a long time. So that's just one example. I've got another example here that I'll show you. Let's say you want to go a little bit bigger, then this is a great option. Look at this. This is the same kind of container, but it's a larger container, and this has 4 spikes in it. You can't even see me. So we've got 4 spikes in here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 flower spikes. Just more blooms, just completely gorgeous display of orchids here, and it comes with this nice little heart pick, so you know it's for Valentine's Day. It's easy to kind of put a little card attached to this, and you're done. And so no longer do you have to give cut flowers when you can give something that just keeps on growing and keeps on blooming. It's such a great display. And again, I think there's 2 or 3 orchids in here. Let's see if I can find out. They're just covered in moss. So yeah, I think there's just 2 orchids. So you can see the 2 clumps, 1 clump here and 1 clump here. And so you really, when the orchids are done, you've got, again, a great container that you can reuse. They don't have holes in them, so you just want to water them really well, let them absorb that moisture, dump out any excess moisture. Real easy to care for. Give them, bright, indirect morning light is kind of what you want. If you've got a west or a south-facing window in your home that you want to display these in, then bring them a little bit more into the interior of the room so that they don't get as much bright light all day long. So orchids are one of my favorites. They're my go-to. I'm going to just kind of scroll down and say hello to everybody. So Deborah, hello. Amy, Kathleen, Ann, Janet, great. So everybody's kind of watching. So check us out. We've got a great orchid collection, not just moth orchids, of course. We've got some lady slippers. We've got some vandas. We've got a couple different types of orchids, but moth orchids are kind of my go-to because the length of the bloom, and they're very easy to care for. And if you've got a lot of specific questions on orchids, check out our webinar. We went through every kind of detail that you might have on orchids. So hopefully you can go check those out and get some more answers if you need to. All right, let's move along here, and we'll stick with the plants, and specifically kind of indoor plants. This is an absolutely gorgeous jasmine. This is called a Madagascar jasmine or a stephanotis. Let me get this out of, got something happen on my screen there. All right. And so this one comes in a nice, great little package. It's a hoop, so it's kind of like a wreath shape, and it's these white jasmine flowers. Just absolutely gorgeous trumpet-shaped jasmine flowers. And the fragrance is just amazing. So if you've got a loved one that loves that kind of gardenia-like fragrance, it's just an amazing, amazing plant. You do want to grow this indoors. I mean, it's tropical, so it's not going to make it outside in our winter. You'd want to grow it indoors, but you can grow it year after year. You can upgrade it into larger pots. You can grow it on a trellis. You can do lots and lots of different things with it. So this is a really, really great gift. Amazing fragrance. So if you're looking to kind of, and that gardenia kind of jasmine fragrance is supposed to kind of give you a sense of calmness. So it's great for us that, you know, are stressed out. I know these have been stressful times. And so this is a great one to have in an office, in your home, in your bedroom. It kind of helps you kind of calm down your day and kind of enjoy your nighttime. So it's a amazing fragrance and a great plant. Love that dark green, rich, bold green foliage. And then again, it's a vine, so you can grow it on lots of different things. So another great gift. These are $29.99. So it's an amazing little gift package there. Comes in this nice wrap. You can drop it into another pot. I'll be showing you that as we go along. We've got a great collection of indoor pots. So really easy to kind of come in and make your own kind of gift real easily. So let's see, Anita said, I moved to Florida, but I still enjoy your videos. Well, I'm so glad. I hope you can get a lot out of them. This one's kind of more of a show and tell, but all of our webinars are going to have some educational aspect to them, of course, because that's the point of them, is to kind of educate our great customers. So Madagascar jasmine, stephanotis, great looking vine with an amazing fragrant white bloom. So a really pretty plant. And we've got a great collection of those as well. All right, so let's go to hydrangeas. Hydrangeas, you know, florist hydrangeas have been hard to come by. So you probably didn't see them a lot out there, especially during the Christmas time frame. They were very difficult to get our hands on. It's just one of those things. Not many growers grow a florist hydrangea anymore, or if they are, they're being cut and grown for cut flowers. But hydrangeas are great, and we've got a good looking little collection in. And so right here is a pink one. And so now these are just typical hydrangeas. So if your loved one loves hydrangeas, this is a great way of kind of, you know, those winter blues. You know, it's February, it's cold outside, but you want to bring something kind of gardeny inside. You can do it with lots and lots of other houseplants, but what's better than a hydrangea? Everybody loves hydrangeas. And look at that gorgeous pink bloom on there. It's actually kind of hard to see, but it's a bright, bright pink. Very hot pink, really, really nice, and I love when the new flowers emerge with that white and kind of green marble on the inside. Really, really pretty plant. And what's nice about these is these can go out in the garden. So once we get past our frost date, which here in the Hampton Roads area is about April 15th, April 10th to April 15th, we can start to take this outside if we want to. We can go ahead and plant it in the yard. It'll continue to bloom, and then it'll act just like a normal hydrangea. It's completely winter hardy, and it'll continue to grow for you. So these are really, really great for just that kind of that spring, you know, joy that you can bring into the home. Great gift. And then, of course, as I was mentioning earlier, we have a great collection of indoor pots. So this one's got this really cool kind of red swirly pattern on it, very modern looking, but just pairs really, really well with this. And so this is what I always tell people. If you're looking to personalize a gift, or if you're coming in and you're kind of confused, go and check out our pot collection. We have a huge collection of indoor pots. Find a plant that slips right in, and you've done it. You've wrapped your plant right there. It's very, very simple. We can, of course, plant them for you if you want it completely planted. I love these pots that have no holes in them. This one actually has a plug, so you could actually plant something in it. But these are great gifts because the container will last for years and years, and you can use it for years and years to come. I'm constantly, you know, kind of swapping plants around and planters, different types of things as I'm upgrading or whatever it might be with my indoor plants. But it's a great way of kind of wrapping your present and giving it as a gift, because now you get a great container with an amazing plant inside. And we have a huge collection of containers right now. And of course, plants. So this is one type of hydrangea, this pink one, really, really pretty. And then I love this one as well. This one's really cool. I don't know if this one has a variety name. Most of your florist hydrangeas don't, and I don't know if this is going to show up on camera really well, but it's got this great kind of marbly pink kind of picote kind of look where it's got a white bloom with a kind of pink edge on it. Really, really pretty when they first come out, and then of course as they age they get even whiter with even less pink in them, and just a really pretty little plant. So the other hydrangea that I was showing you was a 6-inch hydrangea. This is a 4-inch hydrangea. These are absolutely amazing. Great little plants, great gift, and the gift that keeps on giving. You can go and plant it outside. So outside, what do they like? They like, medium to low light. You would typically want it to have some afternoon shade. All hydrangeas would love a little bit of shade during our hot summer months, as they will typically bloom. They inside the home, if you keep them in a cooler place, they'll last a little bit longer. Water them. You can keep them evenly moist. So inside, you're just going to keep them evenly moist. Give them some good light. You don't even give them bright light inside. An east-facing window would be fine. They do like a little bit of shade. Now inside, we're going to have more shade than normal. But basically, you can just enjoy these blooms. As the blooms fade, you can cut them off. Then you can go take them out after the frost date, plant them in the garden, and they'll come back and continue to bloom for you year after year after year. So it's a great way of giving a gift, but also something that they can plant in the yard, which is a great transition point for me to talk about some outdoor plants that we actually carry right now. I'll get back to indoor plants. I got a lot of indoor plants, and I got a lot of other gift ideas. But I want to transition out to some outdoor plants, as we were talking about these hydrangeas that are great that you can plant outside. But hellebores are one of my favorites. Kind of a perennial. It's actually somewhat evergreen. We have a great collection right now, and it's only going to grow as we get more and more into the spring season. But hellebores are so pretty, and see that just awesome, rich, dark violet, dark purple bloom. Really pretty hellebore, and look at just the buds that are coming on this guy. This is when they bloom, so actually these go out in the garden. So you actually are going to go plant these right now. And so as long as the ground's not frozen, you can plant these. They're evergreen. This is when they bloom, is in that, really kind of late January all the way through February through March. Really easy perennial. They like a little bit of shade, so it's a great shade garden plant. In the shade garden, we don't typically get a lot of blooms. Hellebores are one of the best. And so it's a really, really pretty plant. Actually, you'll get some pollinators that'll get attracted to this. So on a warm day, you might see some bees flocking around it, which is great. And just keeps on coming with these buds. And then it's got this great leathery green foliage, this kind of pinnate leaf, or multiple lobed leaf, I should say. But it's a really pretty kind of maple-shaped leaf, I guess you could say. But it's really kind of got this serrated edge. It's really cool, waxy green leaf. And just a great addition to any perennial garden. And I actually consider these somewhat of an evergreen. In the summer months, they can get a little kind of, a little droopy looking, a little sad looking. They perk right back up in the fall. They start to put out more leaves. They love cool weather. Very easy to grow. Afternoon shade, so a shade garden plant. It's kind of a low growing plant. They get about, I'd say about 12 to 18 inches high and wide, maybe up to 24 inches high and wide, depending on the variety. Some can kind of naturalize and start to pop up in different areas, but most of the new hybrids don't typically do that. They typically stay in their clump form, and they'll just keep getting bigger and bigger. And just an amazing bloom. So that's that dark purple. This one's called Ice and Roses. Lots and lots of varieties out there. In fact, a lot of people are collecting these now. Hellebores are a great collectible plant. They just last and last and last, and they just are so awesome when they bloom. This one is called the Ice and Roses White, so you can see that white bloom as it first comes out, and then it kind of begins to as it ages, gets a little bit more into that purple to pink, really, more of that pink. And look at that lime green inside. Just gorgeous. Great cut flowers, too. These are awesome cut flowers. Last a long time in a vase. I love the fact that they hang, so actually these can work pretty well in a hanging basket or in a container. You can do these in a lot of different places. You can plant them around a Japanese maple in a container, so you can make a great gift idea right there. But hellebores by themselves are just an amazing perennial plant, and we've got a great collection right now, and the collection, like I said, is only going to get better. So come in and get some now for your loved ones, for a gift, for that gardener in your life, but also tell them that, hey, we've got more coming. And it's a great thing to collect, or it's a great thing to plant in the yard in masses and groups. I love them in 3s or 5s or 7s, just a big mass of them. Really fill out some space and really cover up some good ground space in that shade garden where you're looking for something evergreen that might bloom, and especially right now when not a lot is blooming. So hellebores are a great one. Let's also talk about another great plant that you can actually plant right now, and that's roses. So right now we just got in our pre-packaged, or what we call our packaged roses. And so packaged roses are dormant roses. They're planted in this peat pot, so when you feel them, they're kind of a little squishy. But basically what you can do is you just take this wire off the top, take the plastic bag off, and then you can plant your rose right there in this peat pot, right in the ground. So it's super, super easy, very easy to do. You don't have to disturb the root system too much. And then as we warm up, these are gonna grow. So I know it doesn't look like much, but you can get some really cool varieties right now. And this one's called Blue Girl. So this one's a fragrant, kind of bluish to lavender bloom. I don't know if you can quite see that, I got a little glare. So let's see, but it's Blue Girl is one of the most popular ones. I remember when I was working in trees and shrubs, it was constantly, do you have Blue Girl? Do you have Blue Girl? Well, now we do. We have them. These are $36.99. Sometimes you can get a little deal on them. So we've got a great collection of these or I should say dormant roses. It's great, kind of like a bare root rose, but not really. It's planted in soil. You don't have to disturb the root system. Very easy. And if you've ever grown floribundas, grandifloras, hybrid teas, these long stem roses, you'll know that you get instant gratification. By the end of this summer, you'll have had tons of blooms, you'll have tons of growth, very, very easy to grow, likes full sun, so you want to give them as much possible sun as you possibly can because they'll do great. So this is the Blue Girl, and then I also grabbed, of course, we've got like the Paul McCartney rose and the Mr. Lincolns. Those are great. This is a new one called Stiletto. So this is a non-fading color and a very strong fragrance. So that one's Stiletto, which is a red. Let's see, does it say if it's a Floribunda? I don't remember if it says. I don't see whether it's a Floribunda or Grandiflora hybrid tea. But Stiletto is a new one this year, and that means it's probably won some awards. It's done really, really well, so Stiletto is another great one. And we've got a whole bunch of other ones in this collection out there. So I'm going to move that rose off to the side. So Stiletto, Paul McCartney, Mr. Lincoln. I'm sure we've got some climbing roses out there as well, the New Dawns, those types of roses. So we've got a great collection. Let's see, we've got a couple questions. Do you carry David Austin roses? So we've tried. I'll be honest, David Austin's harder to get because of the name brand, I will tell you. So Lauren, check back with us. If we get David Austin roses, it'll be typically in that, let's see if I can remember, it's usually around the late April timeframe. So April 15th, after our frost date, we'll start to get roses in that are growing, that actively have blooms. And we'll definitely have them by Mother's Day is a great time to kind of remember. That's when we'll have our biggest rose collection and hydrangea collection. So Lauren, David Austin are harder to come by, but if you can't find them or if you want to, just check back. We won't have them in these pre-packaged roses, but we will get them hopefully in our containers when they come in, usually around late April, early May. Let's see. How long do hellebore blooms last? What is the blooming season of these plants? So hellebores, great question. The blooms last a fair amount of time. I mean, pretty much this bloom right here was probably one of the first ones to open. As you can see, it opened white and then it started to fade, and it'll actually stay like this probably for another month and a half. They bloom really continuously all the way through the March timeframe, and then some of the blooms will kind of stay on there and kind of fade and turn into different colors, kind of like a hydrangea bloom. They last for a very long time, and their blooming time frame is in the winter. So I use the word hellebore, that's the name that I've always remembered, but they're also known as a Lenten rose. So Lenten rose is another common name used for them. But hellebores, Lenten rose are all great plants, and they bloom all really January through March, depending on your zone and depending on what the weather's like every winter. It always kind of depends. But these really put on a show in that February, March, even into early April timeframe. And the blooms can last a long time. I'm going to say probably around 2 months, and they'll change colors throughout that entire process. So you can see right here on this, we've got a bud here. Then we've got a flower that's opening, and then we've got one that's already open and that's starting to change colors. And they'll get harder over time, and they'll start to form a seed pod, which on most plants are sterile nowadays. But if they weren't, they would naturalize and start to pop up in different places. But this is a great one. And let's see, I think we had a couple other questions. Do you have any thornless roses? So we carry some thornless roses, but typically you're going to find those in the vining roses, like Lady Banks is a thornless rose. Most of your hybrid teas, floribundas, grandifloras are going to have thorns. It's just part of the thing that they do. It gives me a great transition point to go into our florist indoor roses or as a lot of people know, miniature roses. So this is a great little plant. Now these have thorns, but not a whole ton of them. So I wouldn't classify them as thornless. But they are great roses that you can grow indoors right now with a bright light. So indoor roses, really love full sun. So as much sun, even an outdoor rose is going to want as much sun as you possibly can. So inside, find a nice south-facing window. Even if you get a nice warm day, like if we get up into the 60s maybe soon, we can take this outside, give it a good full sun type of area. Keep it kind of evenly moist. You want to let it get too dry. And then just deadhead it like any other rose. So as a bloom starts to fade, you just go in and cut this rose out. You can use it in a vase if you want to, but that will help it kind of regrow and not go into that seed phase where it wants to produce a seed. That's why all plants bloom, is to produce a seed, and this will help eliminate that deadhead, that seed forming, and it'll allow it to keep on reblooming. And you can see more buds coming on here. So this will continue to bloom, and these come in whites and pinks and reds, and these are great gifts as well. You get this nice little package. These are $12.99, and these you can go and plant in the garden as well, and they'll come back year after year as a small miniature rose. I know I've grown one in a container for years and years, but these are great little plants, very, very easy gifts. Great for our loved ones out there, so this is a really good option, this miniature rose. So that kind of transitions us back. We got hydrangeas that you can take from inside and plant outside, as well as mini roses, but you also can plant your long stem roses right now. Let's see, Marilyn said, how about Bewitched? I think you're referring to the rose, and I will have to check on that. I'm not 100% sure. And Sub-Zero roses, I'll have to check and see what types of roses we have. I just kind of grabbed two as I was walking in here, so I didn't take a long time to study all the different types of roses we have. But Mr. Lincoln, Paul McCartney, the new Stiletto, the Blue Girl that I was showing earlier. There's a couple of other ones out there that I saw, but I'll go back and check on the specific varieties, and we'll get a list out there of what you can get. But the pre-packaged roses are a great way to kind of get started on your rose collection. It's a very easy thing to do. Get it in the ground, take it out of the plastic bag, pop it right in the ground in that peat pot. You don't have to change anything. Super, super easy. And roses are so rewarding. Now they do take some care. You got to deadhead them. You got to kind of watch out for fungus and disease and insect issues. But other than that, you get roses the first year, and they'll get 4 or 5 feet tall in one season. Give them lots and lots of sun. So Caitlin said, loves my Blue Girl rose. Good. Blue Girl roses are really pretty and very popular and very hard to find. So we got some now. So if you want one, come and check those out. All right, let's move on to some other indoor plants. So cyclamen is another very popular plant right now. Lots and lots of different colors of cyclamen. Really great indoor blooming plants because they love cool weather. So if you got a cool room, don't put these near a heat vent or in a very, very warm setting, but in a nice cool room, these will continue to bloom. And what I love about them is even if they're not blooming, you get this great foliage. Look at that kind of really cool variegated dappled foliage. Really, really nice. This one's a pink or a white bloom with a kind of violet tip to it. So really kind of different looking. These are easy to care for. You want to keep them evenly moist. So you don't want to basically the biggest thing that you don't want to do is water in the crown of the plant. And what the crown means is basically where all of these little stems are coming from. So you can see right down in there. Let me see if I can get that around. Right down in there, you don't want to water right into the crown. So when you water, you want to water around the edge and make sure you're not getting a lot of moisture into the crown. You also want to deadhead them. So here's a great example. I've got one here. That is not a bloom, and the reason I can tell it's not a bloom is because it's got a little kind of stamen kind of sticking out still. I don't know if you can quite see that, but it's real easy to clean these and deadhead them. You just go in, follow that stem all the way down, and just use your fingers and just kind of pop it right out. Just pinch it right out. So I don't know if you can see that. That's what a deadhead looks like. A bloom is going to look, let's see, I'll probably have another one in here that'll be more of a bud. This is another deadhead, so we can pull that out. So they're usually kind of crooked down pretty significantly, and they've got that little tiny thing that's kind of sticking out of the end of it. Because again, why do they flower? To form a seed, and we don't want it to form a seed. We want it to continue to bloom, so we got to take that off and allow it to continue to bloom. But cyclamen are really pretty. Here's one option. Got this really pretty red one here, and there we go. There's a bud. So now you can see when the buds come in, it's got a little bit of those petals kind of sticking out already. So you know not to take that one off. If you want to wait a little bit, you can always tell because you won't get any petals coming out of the bud. And when you don't get any petals coming out, then you know it's done and you can pluck it off. but cyclamen are gorgeous. We got white ones. We've got this gorgeous red, which is great for Valentine's Day. And again, look at that foliage. You can't beat that. And let's see. I've also got these little miniature ones, which are great little gifts. Look at that little guy. So it comes in this nice little decorative pot right here. Great if you've got like a little windowsill that you want to give somebody, I know like my wife is working at home right now, so it's a great little office or desk plant. Just a great little thing that you can give as a gift for Valentine's Day, but also just as a great little plant. I mean, I love these little miniature plants. They're very easy to grow, and then you can always reuse this pot. So we've got a little kind of plastic pot stuck in here. And we can always buy new little miniature plants and pop them in there, and we can keep reusing that pot. But this is a great little mini cyclamen. Let's see, I've got one more. Sorry, I got plants everywhere. Here's another great purple, that great purple color. And cyclamen are just so much fun to grow. Lots and lots of different colors. Staying in that kind of same lane with the small miniature plants, how about Calendiva? So this is a great little pot, again, a great little decorative ceramic pot with this little Calendiva in there, or some people might call them Calanchos or Calencloes, Calendivas. They're all pretty much the same. Kind of in that succulent family. You can kind of feel the succulent kind of feel to the leaves, but just great blooms, lots and lots of different colors on them, and just really, really easy to grow. And I love these little miniature. These are great gifts, very easy to give. Put up on a windowsill, on a desk. So these are great little things to give out right now. Let's see, I think I also grabbed another Calendiva. Here we go. So here's a really pretty one. This is a white one with these longer spikes on it. So you can see how pretty that is. Love that dark green glossy growth. Really, really pretty. White blooms, pink blooms, red blooms, orange, yellows. So you can get lots and lots of different colors. So if you're looking for a specific color for that loved one, here's a white one, but you got lots and lots of choices. And then again, a decorative pot that you can use year round. This is a great little red pot. We can just slip it in there, and look at that. I've made a great gift. Didn't take much time, didn't take much thinking. However, we can help you. So if you're coming in and you're like, I just don't know what to get, this is a great option. Pick out a nice pot, pick out a nice plant, slip it in there, and you're done. You don't have to worry about anything else, and you've got a great gift for your gardener out there. I see Frida said, my roses get destroyed by Japanese beetles every year. So yeah, they can be a problem. They're a nuisance in this area, and we've got different things that you can use. If you've got moles or voles, then I suggest watching some of my past webinars on mole and voles, because moles will eat the larvae of the Japanese beetles. And so if you've got Japanese beetles that are burrowing into your ground and laying their eggs and leaving their larvae, which are grubs, then we can attack them at that source with an organic solution called Milky Spore. It is awesome. And it's a great way to protect your plants from Japanese beetles. We should all as a community be using Milky Spore. It's a beneficial bacteria that only affects Japanese beetles, doesn't hurt anything else. And so it's a great option to use in your yard. It'll help if you've got moles or vole issues, because the moles are going after those grubs. If you don't have mole or voles, you might get them soon because you might have grubs in your ground. So if you've been digging in your yard, Frida, and you find those little white grubs, then those are Japanese beetle grubs, and that's where they're coming from. Just one Japanese beetle can lay 500 eggs, so they can multiply very, very quickly. So if you can't use Milky Spore, then come and check us out. We've got some other solutions that you can use to protect your roses from those Japanese beetles if you want to go that route as well. So Calencloes is a great one. Calendiva, Calancho, however you might pronounce it, or whatever term you might use. They're all great, great blooming plants. Wendy said, I missed part of the Calencloes, but what kind of temperature do they like? So they like it, Calendiva and Calencloes, they like bright light. So think of, again, kind of a succulent, a wet, dry cycle. So you're going to allow it to dry out between waterings, and then lots and lots of bloom choices. And they bloom for a long period of time. And you can just go, and once this bloom is done, go and cut it back off where it meets the leaf. And you'll get more and more blooms throughout the season. And then even when they're not blooming, I just love that dark green kind of cabbage looking plant. I just think it's really pretty by itself. Just that kind of waxy green leaf is really, really nice. But they like bright light, so bright light inside would be a south or west facing window. Let them dry out in between waterings because it's kind of in that succulent type of family. So really, really nice. So Calendivas, Calencloes, Calanchos, they're all great. Let's kind of stay in that succulent family and do some cactus and succulents. So really great little gifts. These are awesome. So this is a little cactus garden. These are $24.99. Comes in this nice little pot. These little cacti can live in here for a long time. So we've got the ones that have like the graft on the top. So it's got that little red pinkish color. And we've got this other one that kind of looks fuzzy here. And then we've got like the little spiky kind of prickly one. But these are awesome. They're planted in that cactus soil. It is a terracotta pot, or kind of glazed, I guess you could say. And it does have a hole in it. These are very, very easy. Bright light and hardly water them much at all. Especially in the winter. That is probably when most people struggle the most with cactus, is in the winter. They don't require much water at all. So water them really well. Let them really dry out in between waterings. Very, very easy. Cactus store water, obviously, in the plant itself and use it as they need it. So you want to let the soil dry out. Otherwise, you can get root rot issues. But I love this little cactus garden. We've got a great collection of succulents and cactus in general. And this is a great little easy gift, again, for the gardener or for the loved one in your life. But also just a great little collection of plants that's done and easy. We're always I think we're all looking for spots to put plants right now in the winter around the home. And if you've got a bright, direct light kind of spot inside your home, this is a great addition. In that same world is the succulents. So here's our succulent garden in this great little heart-shaped container. So you can see this little heart-shaped container, little terracotta heart, and then it comes with these 3 succulents pre-planted. You can't even see any soil in there. It's got this great collection, got this little fuzzy blue one, this kind of green, and then this lime green, chartreuse green kind of sedum that also is in there. So you can continue to grow this in this container for a long time. Bright light, again, bright, direct light as much as you can possibly get, kind of that west-south facing windows, somewhere where you get good light. These are small enough to sit on a windowsill if you want to, and then water it and let it dry out. Very, very easy to grow succulents. Wet, dry cycle, bright light. Same with cactus. Wet, dry cycle, bright light. Pretty simple. So this is a great collection, and we've got a huge selection of succulents, whether you want a big one in a modern pot, or you want a bunch of small ones and you want to plant them in a different container. Lots and lots of different options for you. Plus, we're here to help as well. So if you've got an idea and you want us to help, we can help plant them. We can help do lots of different things. Just come in, pick out what you want, and then drop them off with our houseplant people, and they can plant it up for you if you want for a pretty small charge, really. It's not that expensive at all to get us to plant some stuff up. You buy the container, you buy the plants, we'll plant it up for you. So it's an easy way of doing it, or you can just get them all and you can do them yourself. There's nothing better than giving a gift that you've created yourself, and it can be very, very easy. So this is a great option. Really just grab and go, but you've also got lots of other options. All right, let's talk about Hoyas. So Hoyas are real popular. This is a really cool plant. So this is a Hoya heart. Let's see, I want to make sure I got that name right. Hoya Carry Heart. So medium to bright light. So again, kind of in that, it's not a succulent per se, but it's kind of in that kind of same kind of world, medium to bright light, and then allow it to really dry out in between waterings. So you want to water it really well, let it dry out. But what's really cool about these is you can actually etch a message into that leaf. So I can take this little heart, and I can take something like let's see, probably like a pin or a small knife or even like a little small screwdriver or something, and you could just put in there, "I love you," and then it kind of scars off. Doesn't really hurt the plant, and you can write these great little messages in the heart and give them as a living gift, and then the Hoya plant will continue to grow. So here's another great little fun idea. These are $9.99, and Hoyas are super popular right now for gifts, but also for growing in your collection of indoor plants. So that's kind of fun, and then kind of in that same vein as the succulents. All right, let's kind of switch over real quick. I just want to go over some other gift ideas that we got lots of plants. We got lots and lots of plants. Look at this fiddle leaf fig. Plants are so popular. Indoor plants are super popular right now. And so, giving the gift of a fiddle leaf fig or, ferns. We've got a great collection of ferns. Bromeliads. Look at this great looking bromeliad right behind me. I don't know if you can quite see that bloom. But it's got this great red bloom. We've got reds and oranges and yellows, and there's a huge collection of bromeliads right now. Orchids, we've talked about some of those. And I've got some more plants I'm going to show you. But I want to kind of transition real quick to some of those other gifts that you can give for gardeners, because there's a lot of them as I was walking around. So think about those indoor plant people. Lots of them out there. Lots of people, give a fiddle leaf fig as a gift, Well, now you got to care for it. So what do you need? You need some different tools and things. So I love watering cans. We got a great collection of little indoor watering cans. At first I was always an outdoor gardener. I never did a lot of indoor gardening. So I always had the big 2-gallon watering can. I was like, why would you ever need a small watering can? But man, when you're growing indoor plants, this makes life so much easier having an indoor watering can. You can get a collection as well. So you can get this little watering can. We got some tools to go along with it, kind of a matching set. These are from Bergen & Ball. And so you get this great little Royal Horticultural Society tool set in this this British Bloom collection. Really nice little set and this nice little watering can. You can also pair it with the little indoor pruners. So you got this great gift set. Again, a great easy gift. This has the sheath in it as well, the holster, I guess you could say, as well as the little snips. These are great for indoor pruning. So if you're growing indoor plants, if you've got a lot of indoor plants going on, or even outside, if you're doing vegetable gardening, you got to have a little pair of snips. And this is a nice little gift set. We've got a lot of little collections like that. Here's the Flora and Fauna collection. So this comes with a nice little pair of bypass pruners and a hand trowel. So you got lots and lots of different ideas. Watering cans, we've got tons of little watering cans. There's nothing prettier than a aluminum or solid silver or gold watering can. This is a great little addition. It looks great just sitting on the shelf with your indoor plants, but it's also an amazing water because it's got this long spout, really easy to use. Waters from the bottom, which is really nice, and is just super, super simple to water some of your small plants and some of your indoor collectible plants that you might be growing. Having a small watering can, I tell you, it's the best thing that I've ever done, is gotten a small watering can because it's so much easier to kind of take it around the home and water those little plants as you need it. So you got to have an indoor watering can. Along with that, you might need some other little things, let's see, some other pruners. You know me, I love pruners. So this is a really nice Bergen & Ball pruner. It's actually designed, let's see, I think I brought a pair of Felcos. So Felcos 2, F2s, are kind of like the bread and butter of every gardener's arsenal when they're talking about their tools or their pruners. This is like the best pruner out there. I still have mine that I've had for probably 15 years now. But this one is made by Bergen & Ball and literally looks identical. You can almost see it looks almost the exact same. It comes with the same tool. You can replace the blade. So for, I think it's almost half the money, so $99, and this is $69. So for a little bit less, you can get a very, very similar tool. But we carry both Felcos, Bergen & Ball. Let's see, I've also got, this is a really nice, holster with a very kind of modern looking bypass pruner in it. This one's made by Bare Bones. Really, really nice set. Again, just lots of different options for pruners. We've got, let's see, I thought I brought my little indoor pruners. I love these. Let's see, maybe I lost them. Oh, here we go, right here. So these are also made by Bergen & Ball. These are houseplant pruners. And so they've got these curved blades. I don't know if you can see that, but it's got a curved blade. So when you go in to prune out of like a peace lily or that cyclamen, if you want to do a little bit of work, and you got all these little stems coming into one single point, it's real easy to get in there with these pruners because it kind of parts the C for you so you can snip off the right stem that you want to. So little houseplant pruners are awesome. Let's see, I think we had a couple. Let's see, Adele said, what type of water is healthy? Tap water, okay? Does it help to sit out overnight to eliminate chlorine? Yes, Adele, that's a great option. And that's why I love having watering cans. So what I always do, what my practice is, okay, I need to water, my plants need water. Well, the best thing that you can do, I think, is let them go one more day. Because in that day, they're really kind of drying out a little bit more. And one of the most common, sure ways to kind of kill an indoor plant is by overwatering. Now, there are some plants that like a little bit more moisture than you typically would. And so if a plant really needs water, give it the water. It's fine. But a good practice is to say, I'll water tomorrow. Today, I remember that I need to water. So fill up your watering can, let it sit for 24 hours. The next day, go and use that water. And a lot of that chlorine and other additives that we put in our water to make it safe for drinking helps kind of evaporate some of that out. And then, of course, if you can capture rainwater, rainwater is the best thing you possibly can do. We just got in a great collection of rain barrels. That's another great gift, is collecting. So if you're growing lots of indoor plants, guess what they rarely ever get is rainwater. And there's nothing better and nothing more natural than rainwater. When rain hits our gardens in the spring, man, does it just glow. I mean, you can just see the difference over, the next 24 hours after a rain, how much better the garden kind of seems to do. And that's what rainwater does. So if you can collect rainwater, it's the number one best. If you're going to use tap water, that is perfectly fine. Let it sit for 24 hours. If your plants have to have water and you need to water them, go ahead and water them. It's not going to be the end of the world. But you don't need to buy spring water or drinking water to use. You can just use regular tap water and let it sit for 24 hours. It definitely helps. So sitting plants on saucer with pebbles and water in saucer are good for all indoor plants? For most, yes. So Adele, that's a great option, especially if they like humidity. So if you've got specific plants that you're worried about, a humidity tray I think is kind of what you're talking about there, which is basically to take a plastic saucer. I don't know that I have one right here real handy, but just take a plastic saucer that you would be using to protect your furniture or your floors or whatever you might have. Put some rocks in there, some pebbles, put some moisture in there and some water. And what it does is allows the root system not to absorb as much of that moisture because you got that rock in there. But what it does help is as that water evaporates, it creates a moisture situation. Another good option for those high humidity plants is misters. Another great gift, that's why I grabbed it. So misters are a great option for plants that like humidity. So think about the plants that do. So like a succulent, a cactus, no, we don't need humidity. Our florist hibiscus, no. Cyclamen, no. But something like, a fiddle leaf fig or even a anthurium, which I'm about to show, I won't give away too much. Those, yes, a little bit of mist or a little bit of a humidity tray does help. If you're really going into collecting plants, you might consider a humidifier. Humidifiers do help as well. But typically, you'll ask questions about specific plants. Some do like humidity, some don't need as much humidity. So you kind of figure out which ones. Like your air plants love a little bit more humidity. Orchids would like a little bit of humidity. So humidity for your orchids is a great option. There's lots and lots of plants. Think about where they're kind of grown. Tropical situations, rainforest, lots of humidity, but then other plants that love the arid, dry, desert type of thing like cactus and succulents might not need as much. So keep those thoughts as you kind of plan out your indoor plant watering needs. All right, let's see, what else do we have? So a couple other gift ideas. Of course, gloves. There's nothing, I know it doesn't sound super exciting, but to get a nice pair of gardening gloves is great for the gardener. So if you've got a gardener in your life, this is a great option. I love these. These are designed by women for women. They've got little pockets for nails. So if you're growing nails and you're a gardener, it's hard. Then these have little protectors on each tip of the finger for nails, but they're also really nice. They've got these great grips on the inside. So this is Dig It. These are really nice, very high-end garden gloves. So really nice gloves. And of course, we've got a couple other ones. These are women's work. These, again, are designed by women for women. So for you guys out there that need a gift for your loved one out there, if she's a gardener, this is a great option. We've also got lots of great men's gloves as well. So lots and lots of options out there. And then, of course, rose gloves. So rose gloves are really nice because they can protect your whole arm. So, unless you got a thornless rose, most roses have thorns. And this is a great option because it protects your arms. It's got this nice kind of band here, this nice, very tough fabric, and a nice leather palm. So this is a really good gardening glove just in general. I use these a lot. If I've got poison ivy that I'm trying to kind of be careful around, or any of those types of things, but also for your rose plants, any kind of thorn job, even just as a regular garden glove, I think is great. Especially if you're working out in the summer months and you're looking to protect a little bit of your skin there. This will kind of cover up some of your skin, protect you from the sun, and it's a great option for a garden glove for everyday use, but also for roses. So this is our Gauntlet thorn resistant work gloves. So really good option there. So again, lots of different options. If you got somebody that grows roses, they might need some rose gloves. They might need a new pair of pruners. They might want to protect their knees. So a great little sitting pad. I love this kind of neoprene, really nice cushiony knee pad. So if you got another gardener in your life, this is a great option as well. I always have one of these around. You got the Nilo, which these are really, really nice and high end. And then I've got the other just regular black knee pad, which is great for all purpose, for fishing, working on your car, sitting in the bleachers, whatever it might be. These are great, and these are machine washable, and they can stay very, very clean. And it's got this great gray side as well as these nice other color sides, lots of different colors as well. So great option is a Nilo pad. Let's see, I'm going to keep going with some of these hard good, or some of, I guess I call them hard goods, but other gift ideas other than plants. Let's see. These are Independence location right now, but Sloggers are great gardening shoes. I know a lot of gardeners have been asking for us to get these back in, so we did just get these back in at our Independence location. These are great gardening shoes because you can hose them off. They're rubber. They're very, very tough and durable. They're nice and cushiony and soft, so lots of gardeners love these. We're getting in more hats as well, so great gardening hats. We also carry a great collection of soaps and different fragrances that are garden inspired. So these are Michelle Design Works. This is lavender and rosemary soap, so really, really nice. So we've also got this peony. Ooh, that sounds good. Oh, sorry, can't really see with that glare. So great little soaps, great additions. I mean, I know my mom loves to get some hand soaps for the bathroom, for the guests that are coming over. This is a great option. We've got lots and lots of different scents as well. We've also got in a great collection of mugs. These are really kind of cool and inspired by that kind of urban jungle type of feel. So I know lots of people love mugs and different options for mugs. This would be great to put a little plant in as well. So you can give a little plant as well as a great little mug. Kind of a 2-for-1 gift idea. But we've got these really cool ones. These are kind of that jungle, that urban kind of jungle inspired look. We've got lots of stakes as well. So these are kind of fun. These are pot clingers.